We are now under 3 weeks away from the release of Planet Coaster 2, and it is getting very exciting. Over the past month or two, we've seen brand new coaster types come into the game and refreshed looks, new pathing tools, which is an absolute lifesaver, and there is so much more on top of that. But recently, very kindly, Frontier invited me down to a special event at Thorpe Park to try out more of Planet Coaster 2. And having played it previously, there were some very noticeable new things in this version I played. I got to have another play around with some of the stuff we've seen already, and a chance to test out some new things as well. So buckle your restraints and pull down your seatbelts. I've messed that up again. And if you aren't already and you do enjoy this video, subscribe. There's so much more Planet Coaster 2 content to come. So then, a bit of backstory before I get into the new features and show you the gameplay that I actually played. As said, Frontier invited us down to Thorpe Park for a special event where we got to ride Hyperia and do some challenges and stuff, and also, of course, a Planet Coaster 2 event. We're going to play the game. And we did just that for more than 3 hours in the end, I think, which is mental. But I made sure to check out everything I could. And I'm not too sure what they posted, but we did a challenge to try and build Hyperia, which technically now is my first recreation I've ever made in this game, and I actually won the first place award for that build, so thank you very much, Planet Coaster. I've never recreated Hyperia before, this is an honour. But I'll leave that for tomorrow's video, so stay tuned for that if it's not out already, because I don't know what I'm doing yet. Let's actually jump in to the gameplay with those new features. And the first thing I wanted to show you is the brand new tutorial. But this is when we go on to the sandbox world. And as you can see, I have started to build Hyperia, the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster, but I'm not going to play that bit. I will show you that in that other video. Like I said, subscribe so you don't miss it. Either way, I'm setting the time to day because it got very dark randomly. And then I zoom on down to, as you can see, this water ride log flume style attraction. And this is the 2 per row log flume boat. And the original task was to build something like Tidal Wave at Thorpe Park, but I started playing around a bit before I did that. So as you can see, you can use the standard track as per usual, or you can use the upwards conveyor belt lift hill. And then switching to the other page, I wasn't expecting to see this on this model, but you can use the turntables and vertical lifts on this type of log flume, which I think is great. Turning around the top there, a very simple layout, and then we should go down the drop right now. Yeah, you still have to sort of do those drop things where it goes up a little bit before going down. You can just sort of slope it down anyway, but yeah, that exists. And then much like the other log flumes, you can have it go down into a big splashdown area or just the normal one. I very much flicked through that quite fast, but I hope you caught that. And once again, the option to do that is very, very useful. I won't take you through the whole build process, but I pretty much at the bottom of the drop put loads of fountain things to look like water leaking out and this weird like tunnel looking thing because I did the lake wrong, as I do everything wrong. And I thought because Tidal Wave Splash is so big, I'm going to add my own splashes to it. So that actually gave me an opportunity to use the new sequencer tool, which as you can see, I dragged the number 1 there. So when the ride car hits that, it will then go off. You add the objects and there you go. It's all on a timeline. Looks so much nicer. If I want to bring that back, there you go. Look how nice that looks compared to what we had before. And from what I can remember, it wasn't the most amazing timing on this animation. Here we go. Yeah. I definitely should have timed that a lot better. But that was quite a nice build to start off with, and you're probably bored of seeing Tidal Wave by now. Let's move on to something more interesting. So of course, I went to my old friend, the Multiverse Coaster. I did try and start making 13, but I wanted to save it for when I actually have the game so I can properly do it. I also had no idea where I was going with it, so that's my other excuse. But there is no better way to test out all of the different things this coaster can do than making a coaster variant of it that just does all of them, and those are the only elements it goes through. But as you can see, it goes into the switch track there, it goes backwards, and then we go into the turntable, which they have fixed the turntable, which is amazing to see. If you remember my first gameplay of this, the turntable decided to go along no track, just the train. So I'm glad they have fixed that, and then it should launch up that hill there and go back into the station. That is not enough speed. Oh. Well, that's ended well. And after exploring a few things like that, I did end up finishing the challenge completely. So we just got left to our own devices. So why not look through the coasters and ride menus to see what's new? And oh boy, there was something very exciting in there. Now I did scroll down a lot of the different flat rides and I actually couldn't really see anything new except for maybe one or two things that might be. Don't know if I'm just forgetting things. There was nothing new in the transportation rides either. You couldn't use the FD Vision just yet. I can't make an Omni Mover. I wish I could have. But what was interesting was the coaster menu itself. So I scrolled down and went through loads of different ones. And if you remember a while back, there was something about a B&M splashdown coaster. And we were all a bit like, what even is that? Because B&M don't have a splashdown coaster. Well, some of you were correct because that coaster is actually the B&M Hyper Coaster, but not the normal like 4 in a row seater one. It is the one like Shambhala, or I guess Diamondback in America, that has the staggered seating where 2 sit next to each other and then 2 sit winged behind, which is a very strange seating configuration, but I kind of like it. And on Diamondback specifically, there are things at the back of the train that scoop up water when it goes through a splashdown lake or pond or piece of water. And that is what this coaster is based on. A B&M Hyper with those things that chuck up water. So I thought that was quite cool to see, as is my favorite thing I noticed and the new coaster that I saw when playing this game again. And that is one I wasn't expecting to see in this game. That being, if I want to click on it, here we go, the Vector or Vekoma rotating coaster, which if you can recognize the style of those trains, it is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot in Orlando, in the world, in Earth, in the galaxy, not the Guardians one. And this really caught my eye because we have the 2 multiverse coasters, but I was not expecting to see this coaster type in Planet Coaster 2. So as you can see, I click build and I place it down in the park here, sort of rotate it around a little bit. And as you can see, the trains and the track do look really cool. Look at that. That is amazing. And I'm not sure if you noticed it, but you'll see it now. On the edit coaster track, as you're editing it, you can actually rotate the train around as it's going around the track, so it's got a controlled spin element to it. That is also insane. Now I just wanted to test out the physics of this thing, so I didn't exactly want to build a huge long coaster, so I literally built this one overbank, and I planned to go underneath the LSM launch again, but I just sort of did that. And that was it. And I started testing them, and here they go. They start rotating right there, and they spin round like that. And obviously it doesn't get over the overbank because I'm stupid. But look at how awesome that looks. I know it hasn't made it and it's paused, but literally just rotating almost backwards, being able to do that on a coaster type in Planet Coaster 2, amazing. Just please give us an Intamin Blitz with swing launches and then I'm even more happy. I just love the way they keep surprising us with this game. It is so cool to see stuff like Cosmic Rewind and even that splashdown coaster, I guess, in the game, along with the scenery and everything. It's coming together so nicely. As said, be sure to stay tuned for that brand new video coming tomorrow, or that's already out, of me building Hyperia at Thorpe Park. There's some fun challenges in that video as well, so yes, stay tuned for that, and subscribe if you don't want to miss it and you are new over here. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time for more Planet Coaster 2.